Hi guys, welcome back or welcome, it's Monica, and I've been feeling really inspired to make a video about events and nightclubs and just a few little tips for you that I wish someone had told me 6 or 7 years ago. So I hope this can be helpful for you and let me know if it was. That's it. So yeah, let's get down to it. First of all, when you get booked for a event, for a nightclub event or a corporate event or fashion event, any one of those things, you want to research the brand you'll be shooting for. So whether it's a rave, you want to have a look and see the kind of pictures they like and expect. If it's a fashion brand, you want to kind of get a sense of their style. If they haven't sent you any guidelines, you'll probably want to arrange with them, unless they're super cool and just want you to do your own thing. If it's a corporate event, it's best to speak to the person who's booked you and just say, what are you expecting? What would you like? Can you give me a list? Is there any production going on? Is there any performers? Is there any bands? Is there any DJs? You'll probably not need to do this for a regular nightclub event because it's pretty straightforward. You come there, there's a DJ, there's a crowd. Some of the events will have stuff like confetti and CO2 cannons, and you'll definitely want to capture that if you want to represent the night well. So do your research. Don't try and mimic the exact kind of content that they have. You want to set the new standard. 9 times out of 10, people will book you for your style, not just because you're a photographer that was available. Let's hope so. Secondly, when it comes to speaking to the clients and getting booked, set a rate and stick to it. I wouldn't recommend doing any discounts unless it's an event or a gig that you've been booked with a really high budget. It's several days and you can sort of give them a little bit of a discount. I think the one thing people struggle when they first start out, and I know I've had this myself, is that when someone approaches you and asks for a discount and they're a new client, you kind of hope, oh wow, you know, maybe if I give them a discount this time, they'll book me again and again and again. All you're doing with this is setting the expectations of the price really, really low, and all they're gonna expect next time is the exact same rate. So I'd recommend setting a rate and sticking to it. Another tip I can give you is make sure you dress the part. So if you're shooting an event like a rave or something like that, you probably don't need to worry about wearing a blazer and dressing real fancy, because you kind of want to fit in and kind of be on the same level and vibe as the event you're shooting. So if you're shooting an event for a corporate client, it depends on what kind of client it is, but sometimes it might be a little bit more formal, so you might want to wear a blazer. But whatever you do, make sure you dress comfortably. I can't tell you how much I regretted wearing a dress on a gig that I was working on New Year's Eve. I had to climb places and it was just an absolute nightmare for me. Ultimately, you want to feel good about yourself at the event. You know, if a little bit of an extra effort is going to give you a little bit more confidence, you'll be more likely to interact with people. You'll be more likely to maybe have a nice shot of someone posing or set up a shot. Another thing that's really important is to arrive early. So personally for me, I prefer to arrive, 10-15 minutes before agreed time, if there was an agreed time. Some events are really laid back and they just say come around 11:30ish, Some promoters and some clients, they like to set their own time, and if you come a little bit earlier, I feel like that'll give you a bit of an edge to setting up your equipment, getting everything out. If you haven't been to the location, it'll probably be really good for you to have a look how the place looks from different angles and different positions, and you kind of want to give yourself that stress-free 15 or 20 minutes where you can just really spend some time and think. Like, there's nothing worse than being late and thinking you're gonna miss things or God forbid you won't capture enough. So it's a safe thing to do and it's highly recommended, and chances are you're gonna be happy you did that. So another thing you want to do is to plan your album. You don't want it to be just crowd shots, you don't want it to be just pose photos, but you also don't want it to be just candid. So a good thing to do is have a good mix of things. You want to get crowd shots, you want to get production, you want to show the decor, and you certainly want to get people in the moment, dancing, enjoying themselves, as well as some pose photos. Some clients might say they don't want any pose pictures, they want it to look natural and kind of that paparazzi feel to it, but some might actually enjoy a few pose pictures. So I'd recommend discussing that with the client and then just doing your own thing. Just make sure you give them a good variety of shots rather than just a one-dimensional album. When it comes to the album, you want to tell a story. So I usually start my album with the decor, what the venue is. I'm not a fan of taking photos of cues unless it's something spectacular. But you'll probably want to start with decor, then maybe get some DJs or performers. And then once people start arriving and you get a full club or a venue, you're gonna start wanting to get those crowd shots. And a good way to do it, if there is production, is to liaise with the light or the special effects guys to know when the certain hits of confetti or CO2 cannons or any of the performers are gonna hit. You wanna make sure you capture every extra bit of effort the client / the promoter has made, because that ultimately is going to sell the next event for them, or just, you know, make their social media pages pop. So some clients will not care about the people shots as much, some will care about the people shots a lot. So you just want to kind of speak to them and see where their head's at, but I'd highly recommend giving them a varied and a multi-dimensional album, because that'll show your capabilities and how diverse you are at the same time, which will ultimately lead to another booking with the same client and so on. So it's all for your own benefit too. My final point is have patience, because God, you're gonna need it. You know, I adore shooting events. I love shooting clubs, I love shooting raves, I love shooting corporate parties, I love shooting private parties. It's great, you know. You need to remember that someone's event is someone's joyous occasion or a time off where they let loose. So there's likely going to be alcohol, and some people are just, you know, just be patient with their behavior. You know, someone might drag you to the side and try and speak to you for 10 minutes about absolutely nothing you care about. Another times, someone will spill a drink on you, so ensure your equipment. I actually had someone accidentally spill a cup of whiskey into my eye. They were just hugging their friend and they were holding their drink, and I happened to walk by and ended up in my eye. And I don't know, maybe 6 years ago I would have been annoyed, but I just kept blinking. And then once I got the whiskey out, I was like, okay, let's carry on. I mean, the guy apologized, but you might get some people that won't apologize for the things they've done. Just don't take it too seriously, and just know that they're drunk, or just, you know, they're just letting loose. So have a little bit of patience with that. But also don't be scared to speak to people and establish connections and relationships, because if it's an event you shoot a lot, it's actually really nice to know regulars and kind of make friends with them, and you know, you become better known in the field that you do your work as well, and that might lead to more work. As well as it's just nicer. It's nice to shoot people that you know. That'll make your album so much better, because when people know you, they tend to post for you differently, and there's a little bit of a special connection with that. So I'd highly recommend befriending some regulars. I have no doubt that there's so much more I could tell you, but this is just the things I have on my mind. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and make a part 2 or answer them myself somehow. And yeah. Good luck and happy shooting. If you do events, you likely have a lot of crazy stories, so if you have anything funny that's happened to you, sound off in the comments below. Subscribe if you feel like it, and please like this video to help with the algorithm gods, and I'll see you soon.